Hello and welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. You know what we've never done on this show before? A fantasy comic! No, I mean a sword and sorcery comic, not someone's delusions. I hate you, editor. But anyway, yeah, because I'm at a convention right now, what better time is there for an adventure? Huzzah! And to get us in the mood for this adventure, let's dig into Zolastraya and the Bard #1.
Welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. Linkara's gonna teach you all a lesson you won't learn. Brodsky, you're not the smartest. Life out, you're not an artist. Anyone who's had a bad comic published, it could be your turn. Linkara, he's a man punch, wears a pretty hat. Linkara, he has a magic gun. Where'd he purchase that? Linkara, coins, robots, Amazon and trucks. Linkara, this comic sucks. Linkara.
Do you have the time to listen to me whine about nothing and everything all at once?
I've been holding my breath since the theme song started. So, what's the backstory for this comic? Hell if I know. Welcome back to Black and White Independent Comic of the 80s Theater! I need a pithier title than that. So yeah, like I said, black and white independent comic from the 80s. We've touched on this before, how the rise of the direct market, aka comic book stores, granted an opportunity for new creators independent of big companies like Marvel and DC to get their work out to people. And most of it was absolute garbage. For every Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, there are 10 wannabe superheroes and 20 other comics of varying genres, usually sci-fi or parody stuff. Or you have the likes of Solson, purveyors of fine sequential art like Samurai Santa, or sultry teenage super foxes. And because there are so damn many of these kinds of comics, it's hard to find anything of substance about the companies or people who produced them, unless they actually had a career after their books tanked. So what do I have for Zolastraya and the Bard? Only that the title character is based on one of the creative team, also named Zolastraya, although I could be pronouncing it wrong thanks to the diacriticals over the O and A in the name, and I don't really care to learn more. And the only thing I could learn about her is that back in the 80s, she briefly dated Dave Feminine Void Absorbing My Male Light Sim, creator of the critically acclaimed Cerebus comic. And even that's based on secondhand information I found from a Cerebus Yahoo message group. I have no reason to doubt its authenticity. Basically all it says is that they used to date and Zolastraya herself thinks that this comic is crap. Also, that in 2008 she was working on a comic called Helen of Troy, but no idea if it ever got published. So yeah, this comic is a complete mystery to me. And a mystery is like an adventure! And a really crappy comic is like a really disappointing adventure. The cover is completely uninteresting and bland, just a picture of Zolastraya holding a giant sword in front of a white background. The only color present is her skin, eyes, and lipstick. Well, thank goodness they made sure the cover was in color. It was a great use of that to excite the imagination. She's sexy. She's tough. She's what people think a strong female character is, instead of just being well-rounded and believable. She's neurotic. She is one of those melodramatic fools. Neurotic to the bone, no doubt about it. And she's not in a very good mood. Neither am I, and I haven't gotten to the actual content of the book yet.
Linkara!
Kaiser Neko of Team 4-Star?
That is definitely my name and group I am affiliated with for expositional purposes.
What can I do for you, sir?
I've come to bring you on an adventure!
An adventure? Can it wait until after I finish reviewing a comic book?
Yes, it can!
We open with the comic book equivalent of a movie text crawl providing us the backstory. Twist of fate. In the far-off mists of time, the mighty and powerful Aesir, guardians of Asgard, were locked in mortal combat with the dark forces bent on the destruction of the Aesir's reign. Star Wars Episode 7 makes the bold move of being yet another prequel. The final conflict that could end their world, Ragnarok. I don't know if that's the correct way to spell Ragnarok, but I do love how that spelling makes it look more like a heavy metal concert than the apocalypse. The tales of the Aesir's valor in the great struggle were legend, but none could surpass those sung of the great warrior goddess Zolastraya. Not that the songs were any better, just that they were sung much louder than the others. Here begins, my friends, the tales of her exploits, from the epic poem of Taliesin the Bard. Order your copy of Taliesin the Bard's epic poem now and receive this free t-shirt. We truly open with Zolastraya debating with herself whether to get out of bed. Why should I bother to get up? It never makes a difference. Every day is the same. Our hero, everybody! The Norse goddess equivalent of Ferris Bueller. Zolastraya is naturally talking to herself since, well, no one else seems to be around to talk to her. While she goes off to a pond to bathe, she explains to the trees, I guess, that she had refused to marry an asshole named Half Dan. She was more attracted to his brother, 3/4 Dan. And as a result, she was sent away to this place, whatever it is. Also, it looks like she's keeping her body wash in wine bottles. I hate them all! Why have they done this to me? They are making me crazy! Oh, come on, this place doesn't look so bad. At least you've got natural wood paneling everywhere. It gives it a nice woodsy feel. So she gets dressed and complains some more. Gotta love how our first impression of our hero is her whining exposition to herself. And resolves to not give in. What do those royal buffoons expect of me anyway? To put my tail between my legs and cowl like a scared dog? I don't know many dogs who put on hoods.
Actually, Linkara, cowl can be used as a transitive verb as well.
Lanny Pator, also of Team 4-Star.
That is indeed who I am.
Yeah, I know it can be used in that variety, but why not just use cower?
You'll find out if you go on an adventure!
Still got a comic to review.
Okay.
The goddess Zolastraya will not be intimidated! The goddess Zolastraya will speak in the third person and put pauses between her words! She worries for a bit if she's become weak after spending so much time here on her own, and there's a brief panel depicting what appears to be a gorilla in shadows talking to some kind of imp. All the gorilla asks is if they've captured Zolastraya yet. And back to Zolastraya talking to herself. Suddenly, 2 blackbirds land on her hand, no doubt named Phobos and Deimos, and her reaction upon them landing is for her to exclaim, "What? Poachers? In my wood? I'll draw their blood!"
You can talk to birds.
In her anger, she storms off down a path, swearing she'll kill them with her bare hands and slice them to ribbons and rip out their hearts. So, naturally, she's using a bow and arrow when she finally reaches the poachers. There they are, the bastards! I wonder how they would like an arrow through the heart! Madam, we can hear you, you know. And to answer your question, no, we would not care for it. And just to continue her theme of thinking out loud, when this Genghis Khan-looking dude runs at her, she keeps urging him to come closer to the point that when she's about to chop off his head, he's able to block it with his own sword. Almost like he knew she was there. The great warrior goddess Zolastraya, everyone! Actually, I'm being unfair, since she easily manages to fend off several attackers, kill a few of them, and then use precognition to know what a guy is going to say to her before he even says it. Wench? You'll do better than that, pretty wench! Yeah, obviously they're supposed to be read the other way around, but that's what happens when you don't know how to place your word balloons properly. Also, she apparently hates being called wench. I hate that! Yeah, don't worry, Barbed Wire, we won't call you babe. After killing a few more, she steps into a net trap that apparently these guys had time to set up and is hoisted into the air. What magic is this that binds me? As always in fiction, nets are the most powerful weapon in your arsenal. Oh! But yeah, she's captured now. Apparently the net bounds her hands too, I guess. And they proceed to carry her across the land into a castle. Feisty little wench, ain't she? Do not call me wench! She hates that. Ha ha ha! You know, Larry, one of these days you're gonna get a sexual harassment lawsuit, and I'm gonna be the one who suffers for it. The titular bard is also arriving at the castle and is greeted by this lisping fellow. Oh, there you are, you stupid bard. Ymir is pissed. He's nearly ready to dine. Hurry up and get inside and entertain Ymir's guests. And what manner of entertainment are you, little man? A very stereotypical one, I'd imagine. Zolastraya hates being chained! Zolastraya needs to learn how to use personal pronouns. So now Zolastraya has even more reason to complain as she talks about how she got more than she wished for and her desire for excitement. Ymir himself approaches, not that we get a good look at him, since we needed to fill some larger panels with dialogue balloons instead. Also, he happily implies that he's going to rape her. Yippee skippy. And then he forces her to wear some kind of slave girl costume and, despite verbal protests that she won't, the guards tell her to do so or they'll put it on her for her. You know, I've put myself in an irritating dilemma with this. On one hand, I don't want to come across as victim-blaming the woman who has been kidnapped and threatened with rape, but on the other hand, she keeps acquiescing to them despite her personality constantly being portrayed as the kind of person who would tear your throat out if you had an offensive haircut, and we've seen she's a more than competent fighter who doesn't take any crap. So this all feels really inconsistent. Hell, even when she's brought out to Ymir's party, she still keeps loudly proclaiming how this is bullcrap and she won't tolerate it. So yeah, I want to criticize this scene, but I don't want to victim blame. If only there was some way I could avail myself of this dilemma in a convenient fashion.
Linkara!
Antfish, yet again of Team 4-Star!
It's time for an adventure, man! We have to go now!
Convenient! Onwards to adventure! You know, when you guys said that we'd be going off on an adventure, I thought you meant like, you know, find treasure or dragons or something.
No, we just hadn't eaten yet.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go off and find an adventure, okay?
Alright, man, sounds good. We're just gonna sit here, talk amongst ourselves, figure out more ways to keep episodes of Dragon Ball Z abridged from our fans, make them suffer.
Since we already totally have those done already.
I know, right?
Oh yeah, I did the same thing with History of Power Rangers.
Alright.
See you later, guys.
Bye. Who was that?
I think that was JonTron?
Huh.
Thought it was the Nostalgia Critic.
He reviews video games, right?
I think so.
Cool.
So, where were we? Anyway, the bard for Ymir's party admires her beauty and wonders how these ugly bastards got hold of someone so gorgeous. Which makes me wonder if he thinks beauty is some kind of weapon around here. And Ymir says that Zolastraya needs to start stripping off her clothes. Which makes me wonder why he even bothered having her be put in the outfit then. But Ymir's attention gets split because he notices that the bard isn't playing anymore. He demands the bard play, but the bard decides to help out Zolastraya, quickly grabbing a sword and attacking the guards. A fight ensues, with Zolastraya telling the bard to free her chains, but he's an idiot and keeps telling her to keep out of his way. Eventually, they're backed into a corner, and he finally gets the keys to free her chains, letting her start whooping ass. So, okay, I get it now. Zolastraya is like Golden Age Wonder Woman. You bind her hands and she loses all her powers. I thought I was done with the creepy sex stuff. Wow, Zolastraya is a warrior goddess. She can swing on some drapery for absolutely no reason. So after she finishes killing everyone, the bard decides to be snarky. What took you so long, hotshot? Dude, don't taunt the woman holding a sword who just killed a bunch of guys. She also warns him not to call her wench again, and he continues to be dismissive about the whole thing. That's gratitude for you. You and your girly parts. I could have killed them all faster. After all, I play a lute. Zolastraya says they need to go back and get her sword and armor, and if he doesn't want to help, she'll go without him. After all I went through to save you from these barbarians! What the hell, I'd better go after her. Wow, sudden mood change there, dude. You agonized over that one for a whole second. The two begin sneaking around and eventually find the clothes, Zolastraya telling the bard to turn around while she changes. And he does so after her yelling some more, but it turns out the room is full of mirrors, so he still gets to watch. Also, snicker, snicker. Considering the way the word balloon is framed, like every other word balloon, he didn't laugh, he just literally said, snicker, snicker. I guess the dude is just really hungry for some candy. Ymir suddenly shows up and proclaims that Zolastraya is not very bright for a goddess, surprising the bard. Yes, goddess, the first of the Aesir to die in Ragnarok. Ragnarok? Goddess? What have you to do with Ragnarok? Well, she's on lead guitar, duh. And so our comic ends with Zolastraya charging forward to attack Ymir, the bard exclaiming how they just had to come back for the equipment. Technically, you didn't have to do anything, dude. You're the one with the sudden mood swings. Anyway, this comic sucks, but it's still a lot better than a lot of comics I've reviewed lately. It's amateurish in the art and writing, yes, but there's nothing too offensively awful here. Its main sin is in the title character spending most of the issue whining and complaining. I wonder if that's supposed to be the neurotic part of the title, but it doesn't make for a compelling story, especially since the bard isn't that likable either. He's just kind of a douche who rightfully didn't want to see her get tossed around, and even then, it's based solely on the fact that she's pretty. And now I'll just sit here and contemplate the lack of adventure that I'm having.
Whee! Hey, Linkara.
Megami 33 of Team 4-Star?
Why do you keep announcing who we are?
I don't know, it's like a nervous tick or something.
Huh. So why are you sitting on the ground?
Reading a crappy fantasy comic and lamenting that I haven't gone on an adventure.
Aw, well don't feel sad. If you want to go on an adventure, you just need to go out there and find it. Go exploring! Find excitement where you can!
You're right! I'm gonna go out into that convention and find myself some adventure!
It's Thursday. The convention hasn't actually started yet.
Then I'll wait until tomorrow and then go out into the convention and find myself some adventure! 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 Do you mind? I'm doing a panel here. Oh, yeah, sorry. Adventure! Yes, thanks for your question. It really is that big. Didn't I just say that I'm trying to do a panel here? But you were... Leave! Okay. Man, that guy. Hey, Team 4-Star.
Hi, Linkara.
I don't think I'm gonna have an adventure today.
That's alright, man. You can have an adventure here with us.
We're playing Pokemon.
Ooh, I can get into that. You know, Lana Pator, you look exactly like my government liaison.
Your face looks like your government liaison.
That doesn't even make any sense. What do you...
Shut up! We're playing Pokemon!
I don't think I'm gonna have an adventure today.
Oh, that's alright, man. You can have an adventure here with us.
We're playing Pokemon.
Really? Oh, I'd get into that. If my 3DS wasn't actually over here.